What up, everybody? Power Book 4, Season 3, Episode 5 starts out with some of the guys from CBI hanging out on the block when the Yardies were passing by, and the kid that Tommy shot in Episode 1 of the series when he got in the middle of a deal between the Yardies, Vic Flynn, and Jernard, and Tommy killed one of the guys and shot one and let him limp away. This was the kid who got away, and another guy with him shot at CBI and killed a guy in a wheelchair they called Willie. The Yardie shot up the block because CBI is in business with Tommy Egan. But because of Willie's death, the CBI soldiers wanted payback against the Yardies. When the guys went to report this back to Diamond and he was asking why the Yardies did that, Jernard said it was because Tommy killed one of their guys when he first got to town, and Zamos, the leader of the Yardies, wanted payback for it. When the CBI soldiers left and Diamond was thinking about calling Tommy, Jernard convinced him not to, and when Diamond asked Jernard what the play should be, Jernard said to hit him hard. But Diamond wanted to set up a meet with Zamos to try to get the Yardies to join the coalition first. And when Jernard asked Diamond how he was going to sell that to the guys, Big Smurf and Bones, Diamond made a big statement when he said he doesn't have to sell shit to nobody, that he's the head of CBI. While now that Claudia is out of jail, Elise was trying to tell her that they needed to hop on her family's private jet and go somewhere Claudia couldn't be extradited. But Claudia couldn't make that type of move right now because she had feds guarding her and watching her every move. Claudia tried explaining this to Elise and told her to trust her when Elise slapped Claudia's hands away and walked off, a sign of things to come. Tommy had been out all night plotting on how he was going to get payback on Claudia now that she's out of jail, and came home to get a few things when he told Mireya about the situation and how he was going to get payback for Liliana. After explaining why he had been out all night to Mireya, he then called Claudia to try to get her to meet him alone, saying they could dead their beef by working together against the Marquez cartel. After Claudia got off the phone with Tommy, she then contacted Stacy Marks so they could make their move to try to set Tommy up to arrest him. At the time, Stacy was in a meeting with someone from the CPD, either the commissioner or the union rep, named Jetson Lawrence, who wanted Stacy to give him $100,000 to get back CPD support after she had a civil rights case against the CPD with the DOJ a while back. And because Stacy wasn't playing ball with Jetson, later at one of her campaign speeches, when she thought she would have CPD support, they turned their backs on her while Jetson watched from the audience. After, Jetson promised Stacy she could recover, but the price went up to $150,000. But when Claudia showed up at the meeting place Tommy had set when she was trying to set him up, Tommy was watching from afar off on top of a building with binoculars and recognized that Claudia was talking to somebody and figured out that the feds were with her and she was trying to set him up. After this, Claudia went to her apartment where Vic had been staying to try to make peace with Vic and warn Vic that Tommy's going to use him, then kill him. And Claudia told Vic that Tommy was destroying their family's legacy and wanted Vic to work with her to take out Tommy. But at the time, Vic still didn't want anything to do with Claudia and put her out. But before Claudia left, she warned Vic again that when Tommy had a gun to his head and was about to pull the trigger, to remember that she made him the offer. And when Claudia was leaving to get on the elevator, Ray was coming in, and that exposed who Vic was to Ray, so he had to come clean that he was Vic Flynn, and that he had started out using her but caught feelings for her and convinced Ray to stay with him. Sometime after that, Vic went to Tommy's loft. Tommy called him over to question him about Claudia, knowing that Claudia went to see him and to see if Vic would tell him that he talked to Claudia, and Vic said he did, but Vic didn't answer when Tommy asked him what Claudia wanted. Vic told Tommy about Stacy's problem at her campaign and suggested it was time to pull the trigger concerning letting her know about the donation Tommy made to her campaign. But Tommy, knowing Stacy would push back, knew they needed more leverage and asked Vic how Stacy flipped him. And after Vic had told Tommy how Stacy flipped him, he said that Colin had mentioned that the girl he was with who was telling on him was in art school. So after that, Tommy went to see Alicia, the girl who snitched on Vic, but instead of taking her out, he offered her $25,000, definitely a ghost type of move, going back to OG Power when he tried to pay Maria Suarez to change her story about him killing Miguel. But Tommy paid Alicia $25,000 and got her to lie on video and say that Stacy Marks forced her to say that a guy named Vic Flynn shot Colin, and that she even paid her $25,000 to say that. After getting Alicia to say that on video, Vic set up a meeting with Stacy when they revealed to her that Vic had been playing her and that Tommy was Pageant Inc., her biggest donor. But as expected, Stacy pressed back and wasn't going to be bought by Tommy. So at that point, he showed her the video testimony of Alicia and gave Stacy the ultimatum of taking more money from him and working for him, or letting the video go public, and also that Tommy was her biggest donor. So to avoid the mess and save her career, Stacy took the money from Tommy, an additional $500,000, totaling $1.5 million that Tommy has donated to Stacy's campaign. But now that Stacy no longer has leverage over Vic, Vic is no longer under Stacy's thumb and can go back to doing what he wants to do again. But during this conversation, Stacy also warned Vic, like Claudia did, telling Vic that Tommy was going to chew him up and spit him out, then put a bullet in his head. After Stacy took the check from Tommy, he got Stacy to pull her men off of Elise, who are doing security for her, and also gave Stacy a burner phone and told her that he would be in contact. At the meeting between CBI and the Yardies, Diamond was going to give Zamos and the Yardies 10 bricks for 29 apiece if they joined the coalition. Zamos bumped the product on the spot and said it was the best he had ever had. So CBI convinced the Yardies to lay down their arms by putting their guns down first. But once the Yardies laid their guns down, Diamond said the only condition was to hand over the guy who killed Willie at the beginning of the episode, who Tommy shot in the first episode of the series. But when Zamos didn't agree, Diamond whistled for his hitters to come in, and they wiped out the Yardies. Diamond was going to send a message one way or another, either by getting the Yardies to join the coalition or wiping them out to show that CBI isn't to be fucked with. After that, Diamond told the guys to make it look like it was the Marquez cartel who wiped the Yardies out, and to put the word on the street that CBI had taken over their territory. At this point, Diamond wanted to tell Che the good news about how they were expanding even more. And when Jernard started pressing him about coming along, Diamond told Jernard that he didn't have to convince him that he was in. So at this point, Jernard was about to text Shanti and tell her that he was going to be in on a meeting with Che, but decided not to. Keeping in mind, running Chicago with Diamond is all Jernard ever wanted since Diamond got out of prison, going back to season 1 when he first got out of prison and Tommy showed up and interrupted things. Jernard told Elijah that it was supposed to be the real brothers of Chicago running things. Something else to keep in mind is after wiping out the Yardies, they took all their guns with them. And we know from the season 3 teaser that these guns will come back into play later on. When Diamond and Jernard went to see Che let Diamond know that he doesn't like dealing with new faces and was asking who Jernard was and was asking Diamond where his business partner was, talking about Tommy. But at this point, Diamond made another big statement when he told Che that Jernard was his brother and he should consider Jernard an extension of him. Che was also pissed off that Diamond made a move against the Yardies, thinking that he might have started a war, but they got him to change his attitude when they told him that they were going to make him more money and asked for even more product. But now that Jernard got an official introduction to Che, he's now in position to take over when the opportunity strikes. We also got to believe that Diamond bringing Jernard to meet Che is definitely something that Tommy wouldn't have been down with. After Tommy made his move against Stacy Marks, Stacy wanted immediate revenge and planned on using Claudia Flynn as a pawn to get it, basically offering her Mecca-like protection on the streets once Stacy became mayor. Stacy set it up where Claudia could take Tommy out at his loft, and also told Claudia how she could escape without her guards following her by Stacy leaving the door in the women's restroom that needs a key to be open, propped open. An Easter egg to when Tariq left the penthouse door propped open so Tommy could kill Joe Proctor. And when Claudia was walking out, she asked Stacy, what did Tommy do to her? And Stacy said he took something from her that she could never get back. I'm guessing she was talking about her integrity or something like that. This was also an Easter egg to last episode when Stacy asked Claudia how she was sure that Tommy would come after her, and Claudia told Stacy that she took something from Tommy that he could never get back. As Claudia was on her way to try to take out Tommy, Vic was meeting with 2 members of his crew, the Northern Irish, who were saying the same type of thing that Claudia was saying about Tommy destroying the Flynn legacy on the north side. But they told Vic that the crews from Milwaukee and New York were on board to send soldiers to help them to go against Tommy and CBI. After that, Vic tried calling Claudia to take her up on her offer to work together against Tommy, but he got her voicemail. Because Stacy had removed Elise's protection at Tommy's request, Tommy was able to get to Elise and make another ghost move, offering Elise $1 million to leave Claudia behind and to also tell him what Claudia had planned. So when Claudia broke into Tommy's place, he was already waiting for her. But when he told Claudia to put her gun down, she fired at Tommy as Tommy hid behind his couch until Claudia thought she killed him when he then took her out. But before taking the kill shot on Claudia, he told her that she was the baddest Flynn and that he respected her more than Vic or Walter. But he still had to take her out for Liliana. So now Vic is the last Flynn standing and now ready to go against Tommy Egan to preserve his family's legacy. Ironically, something that he didn't even care about and somewhat despised in season 1. After taking out Claudia, Tommy called Diamond for help, but he got his voicemail. So Tommy called Shanti, who helped him. And it didn't show what they did with Claudia, but Shanti did say that Tommy was making a statement, leaving her like that. And at this point, Shanti also told Tommy how Diamond, Jernard, and CBI took out the Yardies, something that Tommy didn't even know about. And at that point, Shanti warned Tommy that these brothers are looking out for themselves. But after taking out Claudia, Tommy let Mireya just walk into his loft while he wasn't there without any type of warning or anything, only to see bullet holes in the wall and blood on the ground, not knowing if Tommy was dead or alive. This is after, earlier in the episode, Mireya had just found out she was pregnant with Tommy's child. And before she realized what happened, it showed that she went shopping for her baby and bought the baby an outfit that said Barcelona, a callback to the end of season 2 when Tommy and Mireya were supposed to be going to Barcelona. So that callback might not be a good sign, keeping in mind Tommy and Mireya never made it to Barcelona. And when Mireya found out she was pregnant, she was so happy and told Tommy that she had big news for him. But when Tommy got home, she didn't tell him that she was pregnant and said that the big news was something in regards to her job. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.